Amazon Leo, formerly Project Cooper, has launched its new Ultra antennas, offering up to 1 gigabit per second down and 400 megabits up, along with an enterprise preview for select customers. More than 150 satellites in orbit. The service targets business and government agencies needing fast and secure connectivity in remote areas. The new Ultra terminal uses Amazon designed silicon and supports private networking options like direct to AWS and is built for demanding environments. Early partners include JetBlue and Hunt Energy, and they'll be testing this new antenna before broader rollout in the next year. Tom, this sounds like an incredible piece of mobility that maybe is targeted against some other provider of satellite internet.
Who knew that the two people who were racing to be the first CEOs in space would come out with competing projects that were designed to provide connectivity to space? Yeah, I would. I totally knew this. This is the outgrowth of what we saw as Project Kuiper, right? Is they're going to launch all these communication satellites into low Earth orbit, and now they have an antenna that will allow you to talk to them. I will say it is nice that it is a gigabit downlink and 400 megabit uplink. So that's competing with most of your home internet plans, and that's like the ultra tier. So I'm sure that's going to be like the ultra expensive tier. There is a smaller tier that runs nano, which is a smaller antenna. So naturally the bandwidth is a little bit more restricted. There's also a pro tier, which I'm sure probably just means that you can cut in front of everybody else in line. They're testing it with partners like JetBlue, and JetBlue is going to be using it to augment their existing plain Wi-Fi. And this is a trend that I've actually seen in a lot of other places, because Starlink is becoming the de facto communication system on a lot of like hypermobile things. All of the billionaires that are building brand new luxury yachts, they all have Starlink terminals integrated into the yacht. That's so that they can pretend to be in the office when they're actually floating somewhere off of a coast and they're doing work. And they spend all of their money kind of refurbishing these offices so that it looks like they're actually working, when in fact we know that they're probably not even wearing shoes at that point. And that, I think, is one of the places that we're going to start seeing some of this kind of fleshing out a little bit, is remote access terminals. We've seen that with Starlink quite a bit. In fact, I know a couple people who have Starlink terminals who use them for things like being a digital nomad, or providing ultra high speed connectivity in places where it's really impossible to get a cell signal, like the backcountry. And I think that the value here is that with the smaller nano antenna, you're going to be able to basically carry that like a backpacker, right? But for those kind of fixed emplacements, think oil rigs, think remote construction sites. This is a great way to provide a deployable network without needing to run cables and get access points up and running and deploy like a huge infrastructure. You can just drop this antenna down and it works. And the key advantage here over Starlink is that this is built by Amazon and it's optimized to use Amazon services. So you can get a direct Amazon link, which I'm sure will, speed up any kind of AWS uplink, downlink type stuff, which is what you would want if all your stuff is located in AWS. But also by optimizing it for things like video conferencing and other applications that you use, it means that you either A, don't use nearly as much bandwidth, or B, it will give you a better experience overall in case there's some kind of weird outage, sunspots, solar flare, you name it. I think that the other advantage of having this come out of Amazon is that it will create a competitive market, so that then it will force other providers, cough, cough, Starlink, cough, cough, to get better at what they're doing and to provide better service, to provide better connectivity, to not have weird restrictions like, oh, you can only buy this smaller antenna if you're a customer on the bigger antenna, and that kind of thing like that. So this should be good overall. I just hope that we don't end up populating low Earth orbit with a constellation of satellites so thick that we can't fly through it. Because you never know who's going to do something crazy, like decide to build even more stuff in orbit. Wait, hold that thought.